Hi, Eric Linask with TMC. We're here at Cloud Expo, and I'm talking today with Alon Israely from BIA. Alon, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
So, a lot of exciting things, a lot of innovation around the cloud, what people are doing, what they're bringing into the cloud. What are some of the trends you're seeing?
Well, I think we're starting to see more SaaS plays come to the fore. So, for example, we're for so long looking at the infrastructure guys or the platform guys, but more and more you have application level deployment using cloud technologies, which is nice because, frankly, businesses and end users are looking for the solution and not necessarily the infrastructure. And so I think we're seeing a lot more essentially just SaaS plays, especially if you look at this year as compared to previous years, where it's purely infrastructure, storage, nuts and bolts of the cloud or big data, and we're starting to move a little bit up in the levels.
What do you think is driving that change or that evolution?
I think it's really people are looking for solutions, and they're looking for wrapped solutions. So some of the advantages of the cloud are that you can very easily roll out a solution. It's been at the infrastructure level for so long, and people are starting to say, well, wait a minute, instead of just handing me the infrastructure, the platform, now give me the actual substantive application as well. So of course we see the big boys doing it, anywhere from Salesforce.com to Google and Microsoft with their productivity, web-based productivity tools. But more and more companies like us are looking at more niche markets and deploying a SaaS level tool for a particular market, a particular business problem.
So talk to me about the business problem that you're helping customers solve.
Primarily we help customers solve the problem of data preservation for legal purposes. So companies out there that either have regulatory investigations or lawsuits or internal situations where they need to be able to preserve data in a certain state at a certain time, they would use our application. It's cloud-based. Log in, follow the workflow. We are an expert workflow, so there's many years, almost a decade, actually over a decade of both technology and legal acumen that have been designed into the application. And so when a company has a legal situation, they need to lock data down, they need to preserve it, and then analyze it before it goes to the other side or before it goes to the regulators, they would use our solution for that.
Now in a situation like that, are they actually storing the data in the cloud? Are they storing it on-prem, or is it a combination of both?
It depends on the customer. Primarily our customers store it in the cloud. We have a very secure cloud-based repository where it's been tuned for legal data. So chain of custody, the right kind of encryption, all the mechanisms that you would need in order to certify in court what it is you've done with the data. But there are, of course, we also offer options to store the data kind of inside the corporate network or on the customer premises or customer equipment.
It's interesting, I think over the past 12 years, we've been hearing an awful lot more about vertical markets who have traditionally maybe shied away from doing things in the cloud because they haven't been certain regarding security, really start migrating into the cloud. In the legal industry, financial services, healthcare, industries like that. Why is that the case?
I think it's just a matter of maturity. I think, I've been saying for a long time, and I speak a lot around the subject of data security. I'm a CISSP as well as an attorney, and I think, it's just been partly a psychological apprehension, but at the same time, what I've been saying to people is you do the same old security vetting. You ask the same questions. You're going to have different technical nuances when dealing with a utility computing infrastructure, distributed storage, but at the same time, it's still the same stuff you've been asking. Back when we were doing colos, it's the same thing. People, I remember 10 years ago, I don't want to put my data in a colo. I'd rather have the hardware here in our data center. But then we ask the right security questions. Same thing today. You just got to ask the right security questions, as well as the progression of technology. I mean, encrypting systems today, the ability to store data in a secure manner, access control, they're much more mature, especially tuned for the cloud already. So for example, our app is all about that. Information security is in our blood, it's in our DNA, that's where we grew up from. I'm sure you can appreciate the first thing attorneys or IT security folks inside of corporations will ask is, I don't know if we want our data going there, how are you handling security? And it's not just about the storing of the data. In fact, we can probably show that our storing data in our systems and our cloud-based systems and the way we do that, probably more secure than most of our customers store their own data. It's not only about the securing of the data, but it's access to the app. Who has access? How does that access work? As a legal application especially, we also have questions around data privacy and questions around cross-border issues, those kind of things. So we're very cognizant of that. And I think that the point for companies is when you're looking for an application that solves a particular business process, make sure you're vetting it in the same way you used to vet security across everything in the organization, but then look specifically for how that might affect what you do. For example, with us, cross-border issues. So think of the things that specifically for that business process may be affected, and then ask that provider those right questions.
Do you think the recent discussions around the NSA and their investigations into certain data are going to have an impact on what people may or may not put into the cloud?
Maybe. I think that to a large extent, as much as we may be scared of Big Brother, at the same time, we leverage technology. So there's a number of great tools today that you can add on to your inbox or add on to your data stores that give you a lot of great analytics. And so now you have a third party that's potentially watching your data. Is that worse than the NSA? I don't know. I think we have to wait and see. Definitely it's going to cause some amount of extra diligence, I think, and that's always a good thing. And so going back to my previous statement, just means maybe some more points on that checklist when you're vetting security. And you know what? If your organization and you maintain data that has national security implications, then you might not be immune from from the government being able to attach and secure that data for their own use. So I don't know, it'll be interesting to see.
Excellent. Alon, thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Eric Lanask with TMC. Follow all of our Cloud Expo coverage in the TMC Video Newsroom.